Did the iPhone 14 just leak? What's the deal with these Apple leaks? How is it almost a full year before an Apple exec gets on stage and shows off a new iPhone that we basically already know everything there is to know about it from the inside out? The world of Apple leaks is sort of like the Wild West. It's crazy, unpredictable, cutthroat, and full of plenty of feuds. And in this video, I'm breaking it all down. I'm gonna tell you how this information gets out, who are the Apple leakers leaking this info, what Apple is trying to do to stop it, and also what these leaks and rumors tell us about the iPhone 14 and lots of other future Apple products. When it comes to Apple, there is almost no product more heavily guarded than the iPhone. Since 2007, it's been shaking up the industry, it's been slashing sales records, and of course, leaking over and over and over again. And of course, the iPhone is just a phone and Apple is just a company, but when you put the two together, you get a combination so secretive and so sensational that every morsel of information is bound to make headlines. There are millions and millions of Apple fans and enthusiasts all around the world who are clamoring to know what Apple is about to do next. There are entire businesses, entire blogs, entire YouTube channels built upon covering these leaks and rumors because partially, we want to share our enthusiasm about Apple, we want to talk about the current products and what we love, but also look a little ahead into the future and just trying to really understand and see and get excited about what could be coming from Cupertino next. And I also just got to acknowledge up front that while I and many others might love to keep tabs on future Apple products and we sort of get excited about these leaks and rumors, a lot of people hate leaks, they hate rumors, and they don't like the surprise being spoiled for them. They'd rather sort of separate themselves from this information that leaks. They're staying off Twitter, they're staying off Mac rumors, and all they want to do is sort of enjoy the moment when a product becomes, well, reality. And what are your thoughts on these leaks and rumors? Do you like to sort of get excited? Do you like sort of getting this hype built up about what could be coming next, like with the iPhone 14? Or would you rather leaks and rumors just sort of stay out of headlines and only be available for those who are actively seeking them out? Let me know your thoughts on leaks and rumors in the comments down below. But unfortunately, whether Apple likes it or not, as secretive as they are, and although their security practices continue to intensify, the leaks keep coming like clockwork every single year, which sort of begs the question, who's leaking this information? How does this information come out? And can you really trust the leaks and rumors from some of these so-called analysts? Well, let me break it all down and kind of tell you exactly how these Apple leaks actually happen. I think one of the most common misconceptions many have out there is that these leaks are coming directly from Apple. And as much as I wish that was happening, and sometimes it does happen, most of the times that's not the case. Someone directly working on the iPhone 14 is usually not leaking information. Usually this information comes from a variety of sources, usually down the line, so to speak, somewhere in the supply chain. And to sort of simplify things and generalize things the best I can, generally speaking, there are three main sources where Apple leaks come from. There's analysts, there's journalists, and of course, there's the mysterious leakers themselves disseminating this information. So let's start off with the analysts. As the name suggests, these people are tasked with analyzing Apple as a company. They look at their acquisitions, they look at their inventory, they look at their performance, past, present, future. They're trying to build a model to really analyze what Apple's doing, what their stock price is going to do next, and what future Apple products are coming and how they could affect the company's stock price and their performance. These are very multifaceted reviews, and usually these analysts are teams of people at big banks or big institutions. Think Barclays, Goldman Sachs, and other big companies like that. And of course, these analysts can be very credible and also very reliable, like the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one and only Ming-Chi Kuo. Now, obviously, these analysts are analyzing a lot of data, but one of the areas of particular concern more now than ever is the supply chain. Analysts are looking at companies who Apple is buying products from or parts from, who's building these products, and oftentimes these analysts like Ming-Chi Kuo are able to build these strong relationships with suppliers or those sort of in the supply chain overseas to understand or get an idea of what Apple is working on next. So if Apple is bulk ordering a specific part that could make sense for a new iPhone, iPhone model, that could give us a hint of what Apple is going to do. Or if, for example, Samsung is changing up their production pipeline to adopt LTPO displays, that could let us know that a future iPhone model could be coming with a ProMotion display. That's exactly what happened last year with the iPhone 13 Pro, and that was thanks to a leak from the quote-unquote supply chain. Now, next up are the journalists. These are a little bit more predictable to follow because we sort of all know how journalists work. They sort of gather multiple sources of information, they're sort of able to confirm things off the record, and they're able to themselves build up their own sources from people either in the supply chain or even cultivate relationships with Apple employees or those familiar with Apple projects looking to sort of talk off the record. These are like Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, Joanna Stern at the Wall Street Journal, and even John Prosser over at Front Page Tech. These are all journalists who do their due diligence before reporting any kind of Apple information. Also, if you are a fan of leaks and rumors and you love to know what could be coming next from Apple, then you gotta check out the appropriately named Apple Circle podcast. It's where myself and Matt Gonzalez geek out every week over the latest Apple news. We give some buying advice, we talk to you guys and answer your questions and sort of just give you a breakdown of everything happening in the wild world of Apple. If you guys wanna check out that podcast in video form or audio form, which I highly recommend you do, it's a great podcast, if I do say so myself, check it out at the link right down below. And last but certainly not least are these mysterious leakers themselves. Usually these are accounts on different various social media platforms like Twitter, and these users like CoinX, Love to Dream, Dylan DKT are anonymous sources that we don't really know who they are. Either they're Apple employees going by fake pseudonyms, they're either in the supply chain or maybe have friends working on Apple projects in one way or another. We don't know who they are, but more often than not, a lot of these users like Dylan DKT are starting to build up a really accurate reputation and are becoming more often than not usually spot on with the little blurbs of information they release and the predictions they make. And what usually happens year after year is that all of this information sort of leaks out at different times. Maybe we get something about a certain part, maybe we get something about a design. All of these come together to sort of give us a look at what could be coming next. And then of course, like, you know, modern news tends to be, when more and more independent sources confirm something, the more likely it is to be true. So if John Prosser makes a claim and Mark Gurman also sort of corroborates it himself, then it's more likely than not looking like it's going to be true. At least most of the time. So now that we sort of know where these leaks come from, how does this actually work sort of in the real world? How is it that we already know the design, some of the specs and camera features of the iPhone 14 almost a full year before the phone is actually officially released by Apple? Well, this is where credible leakers and analysts come together to give us a really good look at what is coming next. When it comes to the story of the iPhone 14 design, credit here really has to go to John Prosser. And he hasn't always been right at around 74, 75-ish% accuracy rating, thanks to Apple Track, but more often than not, what he says does, in time, tend to be true. And what he has said about the iPhone 14 is that a radical redesign is coming. No notch on the front, an iPhone 4-esque design with squared off edges, boxy corners, circular volume buttons, sort of a speaker mesh grill on the bottom. A radical design change is coming to the iPhone 14, according to John Prosser, and what he's able to obtain from different sources, he's able to sort of give off to talented render artists like Renders by Ian here to sort of give us a visual look at what Apple is working on next. Whether these are from images or CAD files, whatever it happens to be, you have talented people here like Ian who are able to turn these sort of sketches and concepts and really sort of make them much more reality and give us a really good look at the iPhone 14, at least what we think is coming next year. But of course, it's not always good to sort of just take one person's word for anything. You want to have multiple people sort of backing it up, and that's what's starting to happen with the iPhone 14. We're still many months away from this actually being released. The closer we get to a launch, usually the more information we have. So this far back, there's a lot we still don't know, but things are starting to shape up to be very interesting. According to Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, the iPhone 14 is set to get a significant design change, either sort of one way or another or offhandedly, sort of confirming what John Prosser has said is sort of true. Whether it's this iPhone 4-esque design, we don't really know, but a significant design change is coming. The same story also goes for the notch. Jon Prosser says at least on some models of the iPhone 14, probably the Pro or Pro Max, there will not be a notch. Apple is instead going to shift to just a hole punch on one of the higher-end iPhone 14 Pro models, and this is also confirmed by Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who sort of reported on this front multiple times, saying that Apple was eventually going to ditch the notch in 2022, and then confirming again in another recent report that yes, according to him and his sources, the iPhone 14, at least some models, will not have a notch, but instead a hole punch. There are also other parts of the iPhone 14 we're starting to learn more information about as well, thanks to, again, analysts like Ming-Chi Kuo. Like we could see a 48 megapixel main camera capable of 8K video recording on the iPhone 14 Pro. That would be super cool to see. We also get more information here, that Apple could be adopting a vapor chamber cooling system, more work being started on the A16 Bionic processor powering it all, and even some changes to the material on the outside of the iPhone could be coming with the iPhone 14 as well. We've also started to see some newcomers sort of pop onto the scene that have really started to give out some really accurate information, like Dylan DKT, who has been right on multiple occasions here, accurately predicting the redesign of the M1 iMac and talking about the colors and the redesign that were coming before they were actually made official, also giving us some details on the MacBook Pro and those design changes, all before Apple officially released these products. He's also been one of the main sources of this rumored redesigned iMac Pro, claiming that we'll have a 27-inch ProMotion display and a new design. And also, again, because we love multiple sources, display analyst Ross Young also backs these claims about the display, saying again, yes, this will be a 27-inch display with ProMotion tech built in. Mark Gurman is also right up there as well, currently reporting that Apple is working on a new, thinner and lighter MacBook Air that should be coming in 2022, hopefully, which should also come in colors and a mini LED display, according to analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. And of course, Jon Prosser is also contributing to this leak, sort of showing off this new MacBook Air from every single angle, and hopefully we see this thing launch sooner than later, hopefully in the first part of 2022. And again, as much as I love to follow these leaks and rumors, they don't always happen to become, well, true. That was the case with the Apple Watch Series 7. We were expecting a radical redesign that just didn't happen. Also, some of the bigger, more mysterious iPhone 13 features like reverse wireless charging and this satellite connectivity, all of these things that were heavily rumored, like Face ID and Touch ID, never actually became reality. Don't spend a lot of your hard-earned money based off of what could become either fact or fiction. But with that in mind, when these leaks and rumors do turn out to be true, it is sort of this really cool experience. You sort of feel like you're this insider, you have this secret information, and you sort of know everything that's gonna happen before it actually does. You're not like a regular person, so to speak, watching the Apple keynote for the first time. You already know exactly what's coming. This is certainly not for everybody. Some people hate the leaks and rumors, but again, if you like this sort of thing, it is sort of fun to talk about things and get excited and get hyped with a like-minded community like viewers here on the Apple Circle. We all get to sort of share our enthusiasm, our love for Apple, and just sort of geek out for what could be coming next. It's sort of a cool experience, and I, for one, just love following this stuff, and seeing it actually go from concept to reality never gets old. So what are your guys' thoughts on the Apple leaking world? Are you a fan of these leaks? Do you love to follow the rumors? Do you love to sort of keep tabs on what could be coming next? Or do you think that it's just sort of ridiculous? Do you not like that it spoils the fun? Do you think it creates false narratives? And do you think it might lead some people to make financial decisions they shouldn't be making based off of what could or could not be accurate information? Let me know your thoughts on Apple leaks down below, and also your thoughts on the iPhone 14. Are you excited? Do you trust these leaks and rumors? Are you looking forward to what could be coming next? Let me know your thoughts on the iPhone 14 and other Apple products down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching the Apple Circle. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.